The G20 is an international forum for the governments and central bank governors from 19 countries. And the European Union, founded in 1999 with the aim to discuss policy pertaining to the promotion of international financial stability. The G20 has expanded its agenda since 2008, and heads of government or heads of state, as well as finance ministers, foreign ministers and think tanks, have periodically conferred at summits ever since. It seeks to address issues that go beyond the responsibilities of any one. Membership of the G20 consists of 19 individual countries plus the European Union. The EU is represented by the European Commission and by the European Central Bank. Collectively, the G20 economies account for around 90% of the gross world product, 80% of world trade, 2/3 of the world population, and approximately half of the world land area. With the G20 growing in stature after its inaugural Leaders Summit in 2008. Its leaders announced on the 25th of September 2009 that the group would replace the G8 as the main economic council of wealthy nations. Since its inception, the G20's membership policies have been criticized by some intellectuals, and its summits have been a focus for major protests. The heads of the G20 nations held summits twice in 2009 and twice in 2010. Since the November 2011 Cannes summit, G20 summits have been held annually. The G20 is the latest in a series of post-World War II initiatives aimed at international coordination of economic policy, which include institutions such as the Bretton Woods Twins, the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, and what is now the World Trade Organization. The G20 was foreshadowed at the Cologne summit of the G7 in June 1999. And formally established at the G7 Finance Ministers meeting on the 26th of September 1999 with an inaugural meeting on the 15th to the 16th of December 1999 in Berlin. Canadian Finance Minister Paul Martin was chosen as the first chairman and German Finance Minister Hans Eichel hosted the inaugural meeting. A 2004 report by Colin I. Bradford and Johannes F. Lynn of the Brookings Institution asserted the group was founded primarily at the initiative of Eichel, the concurrent chair of the G7. However, Bradford later described then Finance Minister of Canada Paul Martin as the crucial architect of the formation of the G20 at finance minister level, and as the one who later proposed that the G20 countries move to leaders-level summits. Canadian academic and journalistic sources have also identified the G20 a project initiated by Martin and then U.S. Treasury Secretary Larry Summers. All acknowledge, however, that Germany and the United States played a key role in bringing their vision into reality. Martin and Summers conceived of the G20 in response to the series of massive debt crises that had spread across emerging markets in the late 1990s. Beginning with the Mexican peso crisis and followed by the 1997 Asian financial crisis, the 1998 Russian financial crisis, and eventually impacting the United States, most prominently in the form of the collapse of the prominent hedge fund Long-Term Capital Management in the autumn of 1998. It illustrated to them that in a rapidly globalizing world, the G7, G8, and the Bretton Woods system would be unable to provide financial stability. And they conceived of a new, broader permanent group of major world economies that would give a voice and new responsibilities. In providing it, the G20 membership was decided by Eichel's deputy Caio Koch-Weser and Summers's deputy Timothy Geithner. According to the political economist Robert Wade, Geithner and Koch-Weser went down the list of countries saying, Canada in, Portugal out, South Africa in, Nigeria and Egypt out, and so on. They sent their list to the other G7 finance ministries, and the invitations to the first meeting went out. The G20's primary focus has been governance of the global economy. Summit themes have varied from year to year. The theme of the 2006 G20 ministerial meeting was building and sustaining prosperity. The issues discussed included domestic reforms to achieve sustained growth, global energy and resource commodity markets, reform of the World Bank and IMF, and the impact of demographic changes due to an aging world population. In 2007, South Africa hosted the Secretariat with Trevor A. Manuel, South African Minister of Finance, as chairperson of the G20. In 2008, Guido Mantega, Brazil's Minister of Finance, was the G20 chairperson and proposed dialogue on competition in financial markets, clean energy, economic development and fiscal elements of growth and development. On the 11th of October 2008, after a meeting of G7 finance ministers, US President George W. Bush stated that the next meeting of the G20 would be important in finding solutions to the burgeoning economic crisis of 2008. The summit of G20 finance ministers and central bank governors, who prepare the leaders' summit and implement their decisions, was created as